Hey, superstar. I am Shannon Dunn, the creator of the Thrive Factor framework and author of the book by the same name. What is the Thrive Factor framework, you ask? Well, that is a very good question. It is an archetypal framework containing 12 unique individual archetypes that I created over a decade ago in 2009 and 2010. I started documenting observations of the women that I was working with in time. Now, back then in that part of my business, I was still doing some work as an art therapist, and I was working as a coach, a qualified coach with women in business. And I was seeing these patterns of behavior, of thoughts, of language, of challenges coming up in the women that I was working with. Now, my background, including therapy and counseling and a lot of nerdy study about Jungian psychology and archetypal frameworks, definitely laid the foundation for me to create the Thrive Factor. And I'm so glad that I did, because here we are now in 2021, and I have profiled hundreds of women from all over the world. It's such an honor and a privilege to have been able to do that. And in the middle of 2019, I launched Thrive Factor School. So I now also host and lead and am the only teacher currently in Thrive Factor School, the principal and teacher, teaching women in business the art of Thrive Factor profiling. So there is a certification program that's 6 months long. And it's such an incredible thing to witness these women embody their own Thrive Factor archetypes and then bring this whole experience to their female clients. Now, they may be working with women in business, they may not, but most definitely when I documented the Thrive Factor framework for the book in 2019, and January 2019, this came out in the world. It was my second version of writing about the archetypes, but this definitely overtook the original version of the book that had a whole different name, and that's no longer available, but some people out there have still got copies. But when I documented it in this version, in this newer version, my focus was definitely women in business and leadership. And with that, I created a whole new dimension to the Thrive Factor archetypes. And I documented each archetype in relation to her strengths and her potential challenges in relation to what I call the 4 M's of momentum: mindset, marketing, money, and magnetism. So not only will you get to know who you are by your general strengths, be aware of your potential challenges, I'll tell you about why I say potential in a moment, but you also get to know what these things look like, these parts of you, these attributes, these skills, these parts of your personality, of your behavior, of your thought patterns in relation to specific areas that are linked to how you are as a businesswoman: mindset, marketing, money, and magnetism. Now, I mentioned the word potential challenges, and the potential is really key. Of the 12 archetypes in the framework, when you have a Thrive Factor profiling experience, you will find that you will have anywhere from 3 to 5 archetypes. Occasionally, someone has 6, and there's a particular archetype which will influence that. So you are not like anyone else, even if you have the same archetypes as someone else. There are other things going on. You will be potentially in a different business, a different industry, a different cultural background, a different age, and other influences that can significantly impact the way that you express your archetypal self in the world. But the word potential with potential challenges is really key, because, say, for example, I've got 4 archetypes in my profile. If I was sitting with a friend and we were talking about what was going on in our lives, and she has 4 archetypes also, but we only have 3 each that are the same, that 4th archetype can change the whole dynamic of who we are. I also didn't want us to focus on stuff that we focus on all the time, which is challenges. What's wrong with us? What's broken? What needs to be fixed? You don't have anything wrong with you. You don't need to fix anything. You are not broken. You may have challenges. They may have a negative impact, but they are also potential. So when I talk to the women that I've profiled and they've got a copy of the Thrive Factor book, I will always say to them, please use the list of challenges that I have shared there as potential challenges and as an insight into what could be going on. One of the greatest words that I just get so filled with excitement when I hear women share this with me in relation to how they feel after they've been profiled and after they know 100% what their Thrive Factor archetypes are is the word permission. And it makes so much sense because when you have had a Thrive Factor profiling experience, you truly know your archetypes. You work with them. As I said, I use them in every first step of every single thing that I do. They come into all my coaching programs, all my teaching, all everything that I do with my clients, one-on-one, in groups, in masterminds. When you know that, as I said, use the word more than once. It's reliable information. We're talking about you also, the psychology of you here, drawing on psychology. And you are then able to go, you know what, this is me. So I have permission to be more me. And what a refreshing thing that is in a world where we are so caught up in all the busyness and the hustle and being told to do this and do that. And if you don't do this, you don't do that, you won't be a success. You know, I don't subscribe to all of that. I would much rather do everything I can to support the women of the world, particularly women in business, to really get to know who they are, to support themselves and to bring that to life. So if you want to know more about the Thrive Factor and everything that it has to offer, please head to the website, thethrivefactor.com, and you'll be able to find out about the background behind it, a bit more about the framework, about profiling. And if you're interested in the profiling certification, you're a woman actively in business working with women, then that might be an ideal next step to expand your offerings and to bring a new dimension to the work you're doing with the women out there in the world. There is also information about the certification program at that same website. So that is thethrivefactor.com. Have a great day. And look forward to hearing from you. If you've got any questions or want to know more about the Thrive Factor and how you can amplify your thriving as a businesswoman.